On Friday 29 November 2019, devastating news broke. 15-year-old Valerian Njeri Ndonu had been brutally murdered by her 17-year-old neighbor. At the time, his identity was protected. His name was withheld from the public because he was still a minor. But from the news footage at the scene, we are able to catch glimpses of his face as he is surrounded by police officers, quietly explaining what had happened. When he was later convicted in 2025 for taking Njeri's life, this was when we learned that his name is Fredrick Mwonjeria Eregai. At the time of the conviction, he was a 22-year-old adult. In this episode, we unpack the heartbreaking case of Valerian Njeri Ndonu, a bright young soul whose life was tragically cut short in a deliberate, calculated act of femicide after she declined Fredrick's unwanted advances. Valerian Njeri Ndonu was the firstborn to John and Mary Ndonu, born on 20th June 2004. Njeri lived with her parents in Mirara village in Naivasha, Nakuru County, and she is described by her loved ones as humble, loving, obedient, and God-fearing. She also loved books. She was bright and studious, and her dream was to be a doctor, and she was on the road to achieving her dream. Having passed her national examinations at the primary school level, she joined Miriliki Girls High School, where she continued to excel in her studies. To her family of modest means, as her father would later tell reporters, Njeri was their beacon of hope. In late 2019, after finishing her third term and closing school, Njeri went home, and she was in high spirits, having just completed her second year of high school. During the school break, she helped out at her father's shop, located just a short distance from their home, supported with house chores, and studied. She diligently worked on her school assignments and revised since she was eager to improve her grades. To support her revision, she would exchange books and past papers with her 17-year-old neighbor, Fredrick, who was then a Form 3 student at Nanyuki High School. Njeri's and Fredrick's families were close, and to neighbors looking in from the outside, Fredrick appeared to be a respectable young man. However, according to his parents, Fredrick changed when he came home in 2019 after completing his third term. He had become rude, increasingly withdrawn, and always angry. His parents didn't think much of it at the time. They assumed it was just a passing phase of adolescence. But things took a dark and tragic turn in late November that same year, when Fredrick took Njeri's life. On Thursday, 28 November 2019, the Ndonu family woke up early and had breakfast together. Mary and John Ndonu left home around 7 a.m. to attend a relative's burial. Before leaving, John asked his daughter Njeri to finish her house chores, tend to the family shop, and complete her school assignments. Njeri assured her father that she would do exactly that. And sadly, that would be the last conversation they ever had. Around noon, Njeri was with her cousin called Valentine, and she was trying to work through a difficult chemistry assignment. She told Valentine that she would ask their neighbor Fredrick for help. Njeri then went to Fredrick's house, which was not far from their house, and she even carried a chemistry book she had borrowed from him, intending to return it. Tragically, Njeri was never seen alive again. As time went by, a customer went to John's shop and found it unattended. Concerned, the customer called John to report that no one was at the shop, and Njeri was nowhere to be found. Njeri's parents, John and Mary, rushed back home immediately. When they got home, together with neighbors and close friends, they began searching for her. Naturally, her parents reached out to her friends, including Fredrick, to ask if he knew where she might be, and he said he had no idea where she was. At the time, there was no reason to doubt him. He was just a 17-year-old schoolboy who'd always been friendly with Njeri and had never given anyone a reason to be concerned. After hours of searching for Njeri, her parents called off the search and planned to resume it the next morning. That night, her parents also reported her missing at the local police station. Back at the Eregai household, Fredrick's parents arrived home, and according to them, he seemed completely normal. Nothing appeared to be out of the ordinary. They prepared dinner, ate together, and later everyone went to bed. All this time, Njeri, who had passed away, was under Fredrick's bed, and in the dead of the night, he moved her. He left her near her father's shop, and he went back home. When morning came around 5 a.m., Fredrick's mother woke up and found him in the sitting room with his books laid out on the table as he studied. His mother was taken aback. Speaking to reporters later, she said Fredrick had grown lazy about his studies in recent months, so seeing him up that early, deeply focused on his books, was completely out of the norm. Not long after, a neighbor came across Njeri's body and quickly alerted her father, who rushed to the scene, only to be met with a heartbreaking sight: his daughter lying by the roadside, lifeless. They reported the matter immediately to the DCIO in Naivasha, and by the time the police arrived, a crowd of concerned neighbors had already gathered at the scene. One thing that stood out to everyone there, including the police, were the drag marks on the ground. The police followed the trail, which led them directly to the Eregai family home. When they got there and they were able to access the house, one of the officers immediately noticed that Fredrick had traces of dried blood on his clothes and a cut on his foot. When asked about the injury and the blood, Fredrick claimed he had cut himself while cutting grass. However, when the officers pressed for more details, he changed his story, claiming that he got the blood stains and the cut when he was slaughtering a chicken. But the police were not buying his story. Using a UV light, they searched the house for blood stains, and to their shock, they found numerous cleaned blood stains that were visible under the UV light. They discovered a significant amount of blood on the sofa and in the kitchen, as well as a trail of blood leading to Fredrick's bedroom, where a large pool of blood was found under his bed. It was at that point, realizing his ruse was up, that Fredrick confessed to Njeri's murder. According to the police, he claimed that Njeri had gone to his house to study. He admitted to making unwanted advances toward her, which she rejected, after which he attacked her. He alleged that at some point she overpowered him, attempting to run away from the house, and it was at this point that he grabbed a knife he had been using to prepare French beans and attacked her. The attack was so brutal that the knife broke. He then went to the kitchen, grabbed another knife, and continued the attack. The details of what happened next are too graphic to describe, and we won't get into them. After Njeri was deceased, he hid her body under his bed, disposed of her clothes in a pit latrine, and cleaned the house. He cleaned the house so thoroughly, in fact, that even his parents didn't suspect anything had happened. Later that night, he moved Njeri's body and left it near her father's place of business. There's honestly something deeply unsettling about Fredrick's actions. After such a violent act, this 17-year-old carried on with his life as if nothing had happened. He appeared calm and composed. That same evening, he sat down and had supper with his parents. Most likely, they even ate the French beans he had been preparing when he killed Njeri, and he didn't show any signs of distress. This kind of composure, the ability to act as though everything is normal after such a violent act, is not normal at all. To further validate this, news reporters at the scene interviewed his mother. In her interview, she spoke about how her son's behavior had changed after he came home from school. He had become rude and temperamental. One thing that stands out in the interview is her account of the police questioning. She explained that when the police were questioning her son, a lady who was present asked Fredrick why he had taken Njeri's life. His answer was very disturbing. He said he was simply angry about how she was dressed.
Mama mwingine akamuuliza hasira ya nini? Alikuwa girlfriend yako? Hapana. Na ulifanya hivi kwa nini? Akasema ni hasira tu vile alikuwa amefaa hivyo tu.
Njeri's murder was shocking. Her parents struggled to come to terms with the fact that Fredrick, her friend and study buddy, had taken her life. Her father John recalled how just a few days before the tragedy, on Sunday 24th November 2019, he had given Fredrick a ride to church on his motorcycle, and they attended the first mass together. Never did he think Fredrick would take his daughter's life. After the police processed the scene, Fredrick was arrested and Njeri's body was taken to Naivasha Hospital mortuary for preservation and an autopsy, which revealed she had been stabbed 19 times and she succumbed to excessive bleeding resulting from the multiple stab wounds. Valerian Njeri Ndonu was laid to rest on Thursday, 5th December 2019 at her family's home. Njeri was remembered as a bright, warm, curious, and thoughtful young girl who brought so much love and light to those around her. A week after Njeri was laid to rest, Fredrick was arraigned in court on 11th December 2019 and charged with Njeri's murder. He pleaded not guilty, and the case proceeded to a full hearing. During the trial, he changed his initial confession in which he had admitted to committing the murder. In his new version of events, he claimed that Njeri was the aggressor. He said that on the day of the incident, Njeri had come to their home for help with her school assignment. She confronted him about why he had stopped texting her. He told her it was because she had sent him a weird text message. He then asked her to explain the text message in question, and he claims she became angry, leading to a confrontation during which she injured him. A struggle ensued, and he took her life. He went on to claim that he was in a state of confusion and that it was not his intention to do what he did. So all of this is according to Fredrick. He further alleged that the text message in question that led to the physical altercation mentioned blood and a woman named Pamela, who according to him was asking for blood. His defense was very weak and the court found it unconvincing. It's also important to highlight that the court concluded that there was no evidence of a romantic relationship between Fredrick and Njeri. We highlight this because several news sources have framed their relationship as being romantic, and that was not the case at all. Given the overwhelming evidence, including DNA results confirming that the blood found on multiple items in Fredrick's home, including the clothes he was wearing, belonged to Njeri, on 27th January 2025, Fredrick was found guilty of taking Njeri's life. At the time of his sentencing, on March 27, 2025, 22-year-old Fredrick was just 3 months away from completing his undergraduate degree at Machakos University, an opportunity Njeri never got. She never got to go to college, study medicine, and become a doctor, which was her dream, because Fredrick cut her life short. For taking Njeri's life, Fredrick was sentenced to 25 years in prison. We send our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Valerian Njeri Ndonu. May her soul continue to rest in eternal peace. Thank you for joining us today. If you appreciated this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to be notified when the next video is up. Until then, please take care, stay safe, and always trust your gut.